Okay. Next, we'll have Standards and Assessment Committee report. So committee chair Jennifer Gravitt, are you ready to present your report?
Yes, ready to go.
Okay.
So standards and assessment, we spent many hours and we have several motions, but just know that your committee spent long hours into the afternoon and evening, and we're still going to go tomorrow, but we have lots more to discuss. So we only ended up with 3 motions. So the first one is 15.5. It's R277622, the school-based mental health qualified grant program. And in general, this was amended to reflect changes made to the Regional Service Center code. The name change happened. There were some changes in the funding distribution to do a 25-75 split so that districts didn't have to pay back the state office. The motion before the board is that the committee moves that the board approve R277622 School-Based Mental Health Qualified Grant Program, Draft 1, on second and final reading.
Okay, the motion before the board is that the board approve R277-622 Draft 1 on second and final reading. Discussion to the motion, Board Member Earl, but we're not seeing the motion on the screen, but I've got it on my, oh, there we go. Hey, thank you. Board Member Earl.
Yes, we need to make an amendment to the motion. On line 67, it should read, RESA shall receive $50,000 per member school district. Do you want me to restate?
Is that how it should have come out of committee? Or is this just an amendment after the
This is this is amendment after.
Jeff, I'm not here to speak to it if you need me to.
Okay, so we have a proposed amendment. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you, Chair Gravitt. So you want to speak to your amendment, Board Member Earl?
I'll let Jeff speak to the amendment.
Okay, Jeff.
Thank you, Board Member Earl, for making that motion. We received communication from the RESAs themselves that actually, after they read this, they count a member LEA in terms of charter schools differently than they do a school district. And the original intent and the amount of money that they were going to receive for this was really $50,000 per member school district. They do not want to receive it per member LEA, just the school districts. And I know Patty and Christy Walker were also part of that conversation. So hopefully I've covered it, but if there's more questions, they might be able to give more context.
Okay, Board Member Belknap.
So Jeff, how do the charters then receive money from RESA if they're not receiving this? How do they receive partial money because they belong to this group as well?
So this is one of those unique rules where you may recall we are allowing RESAs now, when specified in board rule or statute, to apply for a grant program separately from an LEA. So the charter schools, this is for the mental health qualified personnel, so the social workers, the psychologists being hired for LEAs. The charters can still receive money through that grant separately, but the RESAs would still be able to hire a personnel within the RESA themselves that could service all members. But when they reached out to us, they said they did not want the charter schools to count in their $50,000 per member, because it would give them the RESAs very large amounts of money that they did not intend to receive and take away from the LEAs who should be receiving the money first. So they wanted it to be limited just to the school districts. But my assumption is, and Patty and Christy can correct me if I'm wrong, that the charter schools would still benefit if the RESA hired an employee within themselves. But they did not want to receive that extra money.
Thank you. That makes much more sense to me now. Thank you, Jenny, for the change in that.
Okay, we have a proposed amendment. Any more discussion to the amendment? I'm seeing none. The proposed amendment is to on the R277-622 draft 1 to be amended to state on line 67 to read, a RESA shall receive $50,000 per member school district, and replace LEA with the word school district on line 67. Okay, that's the proposed amendment before the board. Board member Belknap, your hand still raised. Was that? Oh, there it goes. So let's vote on the proposed amendment at this time. I think we're missed. Board member Dave, there we go. The voting is complete and the proposed amendment passes unanimously. So we'll go back to the original motion, which is that the board approve R277-622 school-based mental health qualified grant program draft 1 on second and final reading as amended. I'm not seeing any other discussion to the amended motion. So all those in favor, at this time, board members, please vote. Sorry, I've got that habit for after a few years. The voting is complete and the amended motion passes unanimously. Please continue. Chair Grada.
Okay, our next actionable item is R277-611. This is the certified volunteer instructors and material approval requirements and process for firearm safety in the public schools. This is just a repeal. There's a new rule coming soon. So the motion before the board is the committee moves that the board repeal R277-611, certified volunteer instructions and materials approval requirements and process for firearm safety in the public schools on second and final reading.
Okay, the motion before the board is the board repeal R277-611, certified volunteer instructors and materials approval requirements and process for firearm safety in the public schools on second and final reading. Discussion to the motion? Seeing none, board members, please vote. Board member Newell, I'm not seeing your vote. Are you still with us? Oh, there it is. Thank you. The voting is complete and the motion passes unanimously. Please continue.
Okay, and our final actionable item is the USEEP reopening schools memo. USEEP met in August, I think, to discuss issues related to students with disabilities and their families and the issues they're facing during the current pandemic. Their recommendations are always so articulately worded, and the main message is for more communication, excellent recommendations, and the motion before the board is that the committee moves that the board accept the recommendations in the USEEP memo, school reopening amid the worldwide pandemic.
Okay, the motion before the board is that the board accept the recommendations of the USEEP memo, school reopening amid the worldwide pandemic. Any discussion to the motion? Seeing none, board members, please vote at this time. The voting is complete? I'm just making sure it's unanimous. It appears the motion passes with unanimous vote. Is that what you're seeing, Vice Chair Cummins? I saw some different colors flashing.
Sorry, Chair, that was me.
Is that you? Okay. Well, we know that other tab works. So the motion passes unanimously. Do you have anything to add, Chair Gravitt?
No, that concludes the report for standards and assessment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, chairs and committee members, for your work last month. And I know you're looking forward to your work you're going to be doing tomorrow. So board members at this time, thank you, chairs. We're moving right along. I don't think I've missed anything. I think we're at our break. So at this time, if we can, let's take a 15-minute break. We still have quite a bit of work, and we're on the home stretch right after this break. So there's